So you're probably wondering why I'm sitting in the middle of the road right now. Well, about 8 weeks ago, I set out to get better at jumping my mountain bike and get my 6-year-old warmed up to the idea of jumping his bike too. We started with a small 4-inch roll-off at the grandparents' house and then moved up to a tabletop in our front yard. I don't have any footage of us using the tabletop because, well, it was useless. So now I'm sitting in the middle of the road trying to figure out how to convert this terrible tabletop that we can't even use into a family-friendly jump that we can enjoy for a long time. The first thing we need to do is design what we want the ramp to look like.
So we've got a jump right now that kind of looks like this. It goes at almost a 45-degree angle up. It's not quite 45, but it's close. And it's a tabletop, so it just comes straight over the top and then down the other side. And instead of being more like a jump, when Jeremiah comes, he comes and he rides and he just kind of stops. He can't get enough speed to go up. It's more like he just hits a wall. So what I want to do is I want to curve it so that it's much more flowy than what it is right now. This is real rigid with points. I want to take, let's say if we're coming this way, I want this to kind of curve up, right? And then curve over at the top and then curve back on this side. What I think is a good way to do this is going to be for this radius, say, to be 8 feet. So set a point, pull a tape measure, put a pencil on the end of the tape measure, and draw a circle 8 feet. It kind of looks like this on the side of the piece of plywood that we currently have. Now on this side, I want one to be 4 feet, half the size. Put the point, pull the tape measure, draw a circle, and then we'll just sort of round out the top however makes sense. And we may end up having to shave some off. I'm not real sure exactly how steep or sharp that's going to be, but that's the general plan. We like to cut outside because, you know, the sawdust goes into the grass, not into the garage, right? We're done with this one. Yeah.
For the most part, building this ramp is pretty straightforward, but when it comes time to attach the surface, this part can be kind of tricky. We're using 1/4-inch plywood because it is thin and flexible. Normally, this is perfect for a ramp surface. However, the problem here is that the top of this ramp has a very steep curve. Now, I've known about this trick for a while because when I was a kid, my dad built me a half pipe in the backyard, and I remember either seeing him do this or maybe I just heard him talk about doing it. Either way, soaking our plywood in water makes it much more malleable and able to withstand the bend at the top of this ramp. We maintain pressure on the plywood while we screw it down from one end to the other and are able to conform the plywood to the ramp shape pretty quickly.
Daddy,
I can do what?
you can cut a piece and just put it right there.
Cut a piece like what?
Cut like one of these pieces?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's a real good idea. Because we got an extra up in the attic, huh? So what we'll do, since I sort of messed it up, I ended up putting the joint. Put the joint right here and didn't cut this plywood back. And I should have cut this plywood here so that I had another piece that came down and stopped right there. But instead, I didn't cut it. It came all the way past it. So now we're gonna have to, like Jeremiah said, add another brace right under here, so that where the joint is between the two pieces of plywood isn't loose. So that's good thinking, dude. After cutting another brace, we were able to attach the final piece of the surface. And just like that, this build is ready to ride.
I don't see anything.
After a few hours of playing on our new toy, we decided to see what else we could do with it. Jeremiah had the idea of taking the ramp somewhere other than our front yard. Since it was too big for either of our cars, I hooked up our kitty trailer to the back of my bike to see if we could transport it that way.
Dad, that won't fit.
Perfect fit. We're up. Hey, can you come over here? With the ramp loaded up, we set off.
Dad! You always jumped over that pole.
I wasn't about to try and jump all the way over that thing.
Jeremiah got some stickers in this field last year, so he was too nervous to ride here this time. We loaded it up and headed back home talking about the other places that we could take it. Thanks for sitting it with us this week. Until next time, hit that subscribe button and find something fun to do outside in your town. We'll see you out there.